Overpaying for anything sucks, especially socks, so why pay $45 for a single pair of grip socks when you can spend less than half? Pure Grip Socks Pro feature our best materials for optimal fit, moisture wicking, and performance at a fair price, just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
Here are the top 5 football boots that you should not buy in 2022. And I want to be clear in what the point of this video actually is. This is not me saying that all 5 of these boots are absolutely terrible. I'll be honest in saying that some of them aren't the greatest, but some of the boots on this do not buy list are actually very good. The reason why I think you should not buy them is because A, they're either not very good, or B, there are better options available for the same price, if not significantly less, that are gonna offer the same, if not an even better experience. So, having tried everything, there are definitely some boots that stand out as not being the best option, depending on what you're looking for. That is the point of this video. And just a quick disclaimer, because there's always angry comments from people that happen to own one of the 5 boots that I am not recommending. If that's you, you have one of these boots and you really like them, be happy with your choice. Boots are about personal preference. If you feel like what you're wearing suits you nicely, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the choice you made. Please don't take this personally. We're starting off with a big one here, but the Made in Japan Mizuno Rebula Cup would not be a football boot that I'd recommend for the $300 retail price that Mizuno is asking. It's not that these aren't fantastic football boots. The quality of the kangaroo leather combined with the memory foam is great. The fit, the comfort, the shape, everything is pretty on point, and I really think this is one of the most underrated sole plates and stud patterns on the market, one of my personal favorite. However, considering its $300 retail price, you can get something very similar for significantly less money. But if you're looking for a pair of football boots that's similar in terms of features, the Nike Tiempo Legend 9 Elite at $230 also features a kangaroo leather, not quite the same quality standard as the Rebula Cup made in Japan, but still very good, and you actually get more of it on the upper. The combination of that with memory foam does relate it to the Rebula Cup as well, and this is a football boot that for me personally fits a little bit better and in general is just more comfortable. I don't think the sole plate is quite on the same level, but it's still top notch. And for the $230 retail price compared to the $300 of the Made in Japan Rebula Cup, it's a very similar experience for a lot less money. Quick shout out as well to the Mizuno Rebula Cup Elite, which is the made in Indonesia version of the football boot. Some minor differences, again, not quite as premium in terms of the leather quality and general construction, but it retails for closer to $200, although availability outside of Europe isn't the best. Now, while technically this is a top 5 list, for the 4 spot, I've lumped together 3 different football boots that are all actually very good. However, there is one alternative that I think is significantly better, which include the Adidas X Speedflow Point 2. It retails for $130, features an upper that I actually quite like. The fit is also decent, although the shallow heel is not my favorite, and the sole plate and stud pattern, while better than what we've seen from Adidas takedown models in the past, is nothing like the top end version and doesn't make for the lightest overall feel. Again, solid football boots, but there are much better options. And the same thing goes for the first tier takedown models in the Mercurial lineup, the Vapor 14 Pro, which retails for $140, and the Superfly 8 Pro, which retails for a ridiculous $160. That's barely even takedown model pricing, while both very good football boots that do offer a lot of the feel and performance characteristics of the top end Mercurial. Considering one other option, they're just not the best value. And that's because of this boot right here, the Puma Ultra 2.3 that was actually just replaced by the Ultra 2.4, which is more or less the same boot with slightly different graphics. It retails for $130, which is the same as the X Speedflow Point 2. However, compared to the Nike and Adidas alternatives, this is basically a top-end speed boot at takedown model pricing. The sole plate and stud pattern is exactly like what you're going to find on the top end Ultra 1.3 and 1.4, which makes this ridiculously lightweight, lighter than the top end options from both Nike and Adidas in the speed category, which is just crazy to think. The upper is more or less the top end upper, or a variation of it that was seen previously on the top end Puma Ultra 1.1 and 1.2. Again, top end quality, takedown model price. It has a fit that is super premium, and again, you just can't beat the fact that this feels like a top end speed boot for the same amount of money or less compared to the alternatives. The Adidas Copa Sense Point 1 is a football boot that does nothing better compared to its alternative, other than maybe being the cooler looking design and also being $5 less expensive with a retail price of $225. Everything else, it is falling behind by quite some margin. Being a Copa football boot, you expect a kangaroo leather upper, and the amount of kangaroo leather you get on this football boot is laughable. It barely spans the entire toe box area. It cuts off at this awkward point right here, and then cuts off at this point right here on the medial side. So basically your toes are gonna have leather. Everything else is gonna be this stiff kind of textile material that doesn't offer any padding, and quite honestly, just doesn't feel very good against your feet. You expect something bearing the Copa name to be super comfortable. These are not comfortable football boots. The inclusion of a memory foam insert right here, kind of on the knuckle of your forefoot, is pretty cool, although I would have much preferred that to be actual leather. The central lacing system with the standalone tongue, I think, is a nice little touch. It's slightly more traditional than what we're used to seeing. However, the shape, the fit, the material of the midfoot, not to mention the Sense Pod heel liner, is just ridiculously and unnecessarily uncomfortable. It locks your heel in very securely, but blisters and rubbing and irritation is a very common issue with this particular model. The sole plate and stud pattern, while it looks very cool, is quite bulky, much heavier than it should be, and the stud pattern leaves a lot to be desired. It has some other gimmicky features in there that we're not even going to talk about because they don't matter, but this is just an extremely disappointing football boot. Which is why for $5 more at $230, the Nike Tiempo Legend 9 Elite is a better football boot in this category in pretty much every single way. More kangaroo leather, a better implementation of memory foam, a fit and feel that is drastically more comfortable, a lighter football boot, less bulky, a better sole plate and stud pattern. It's just a football boot that is superior in every single way for basically the same amount of money. And if you wanted to save a bit and still get kind of a similar experience at $130, the Tiempo Legend 9 Pro is also a fantastic value. And again, a football boot that, despite being a takedown model, I would much rather wear over a Copa Sense Point 1. Leather football boots are known for comfort, and kangaroo leather football boots in particular are known for being the best of the best in terms of how comfortable a leather football boot can be due to the softness of the material. At $200, the Puma King Platinum 21 is quite possibly the most uncomfortable and worst kangaroo leather football boot I've ever had the chance to wear. I'm not sure how they managed it, but the kangaroo leather just doesn't feel very soft, and it's reinforced by way too many layers of material to the point where you can't even tell that you're wearing a leather football boot when you have them on your feet. Again, similar to the Copa Sense Plus, I think it's a really good looking football boot. However, on feet, it's incredibly bulky and chunky and just doesn't fit very well. It has unnecessary gimmicks like these ventilated heel areas on the side that aren't actually ventilated because it's solid material on the outside of the upper, so I'm not sure why they chose to do that. And the sole plate and stud pattern is mediocre at best. For $200, I'm just not sure who these appeal to. However, it wasn't that long ago that there was a ton of hype on the Puma King when Neymar made the switch from Nike and of course started wearing the Puma King Platinum, which is the boot that the King Platinum 21 replaces. These were popular for a few minutes, the couple days that Neymar had them on his feet. After that, the hype died down significantly, but these are excellent football boots, super thin kangaroo leather, an incredible fit, a really interesting one-piece design, and a very lightweight construction that makes this more speed boot than I think you'd expect something bearing the Puma King name to be. It retailed for the same $200, but given that it's now an outgoing model, but there's still plenty around, you can get them deeply discounted and for significantly less money than the King Platinum 21. On sale, close to 50% off, even at full retail price. This is an excellent pair of football boots. When you're on a lower budget for a pair of football boots, the range in quality in terms of what you can buy varies quite significantly when compared to top-end models, where while some of them stand out as not being very good, most of them tend to be at a pretty high level in terms of quality, fit, performance, all of those characteristics you'd want and expect from a football boot that retails for north of $200. However, if you have $100 to spend, please, 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 please do not buy a Laceless 0.3 Adidas takedown model. As an example, I have the Adidas X Speedflow 0.3 Laceless, but the same advice applies to either the Predator or Copa models that are available at this $100 Laceless price point. And the reason why these football boots sell for $100 is for one reason and one reason only: the fact that they don't have any laces. And because of that, a lot of people who admire the laceless aspect of the top-end options from the Adidas brand but can't necessarily afford them gravitate to football boots like this. And while some are definitely better than others, some of them are also complete trash. And in terms of what you're benefiting from at these lower price points in a laceless football boot, you're not benefiting from anything other than the fact that you don't have to tie your shoes when playing in these boots. What I will argue is that laceless football boots will work best with premium materials at these lower price points where everything is done kind of as cheaply as possible. Adidas doesn't have the best reputation as far as quality of takedown models go when compared to some of their competition. This is a football boot that is mediocre at best considering the $100 asking price. For that kind of money, you can just get a much better football boot. For example, the Adidas Copa Sense 0.3. This is a football boot that retails for 20% less at $80 and just offers a much better fit and overall experience when compared to the laceless model, given that you're not being consumed by the hype and the fact that the boots don't have any laces. These will fit more people because of the adjustability that they have. The leather you get through the forefoot is phenomenally soft and so much better than any of the cheap synthetics you're going to find on their laceless takedown models, not of course including the laceless Copa Sense 0.3, which does not fit well at all. And you get a sole plate and stud pattern that is on the exact same level, again, for 20% less. At $100, that's kind of a price point that used to be first tier takedown models. It's now been bumped to second tier takedown models, and honestly, I think it's too much for a takedown. If you have $100 to spend or anywhere near $100, if it's this or something else, just make sure you consider what else is on sale, because you can often find a higher end football boot in an older colorway or even from a previous generation for the same amount of money and end up with a much better product. Laceless takedown models at full retail are not good value. With the moral of the story being, don't buy into the hype, do your research, and get the most for your money. Thanks for watching.